Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jack, this is Jthbooks. Feel free to like and subscribe. And it's time for my top books of the year so far. Now, if you've been here one of these videos before, I'll link a little playlist down below of my best books of the year so far and halfway through the year so far. I'll link that down below. But you'll know, I always get a bit dressed up for these ones. Normally I come in here looking a bit like a slob. You can agree, it's fine. But I do, because I've got a nice shirt on. My sister got me this for my birthday. So, I put that on. And I always like to get a little bit dressed up, make a little bit of an effort, try to do my hair. You can't say I didn't try. But you may have noticed it was a little bit different in the sense that I did not say top 10 books of the year so far. If you've been around here for the last few months, you will know that the reading has struggled for me. The reading has not gone well at all. At all. And I'm about 20 books behind where I usually am. I've read around 30ish or so. Normally I'm up at around 50 by now, halfway through the year. I normally read about 100 a year. But I'm not having the best reading year. And, well, I say that in terms of quantity. There's been some quality books. But it has really shown itself when it's come to make the top 10. Because I can't get to 10. I cannot get to 10. I've got 8. I've got 8 books. Which makes me feel a bit funny. At least it's still an even number. But it makes me feel a bit funny. It makes me feel, I don't know. It just really shows that the reading year is not great so far. But you could look at it at a different way. And I think these books, if my reading comes back, because it is starting to come back a bit now, this video at the end of the year, the best books of the year for 2025, I think will be vastly different. So I think that'll be exciting. I think it's, going to be exciting 6 months to see how this changes, because I really sort of do believe it will. I can't deny, I absolutely love reading. I absolutely love books. I am so pleased it is sort of coming back. I would really like it to come back and we can finish the year strong. That would please me immensely. It's what I'm really, really hoping for. But I have had some quality books. I think these 8 that I've read, I've really loved. One of them was voted for by you, so I have you to thank. You'll see which one's coming up. I actually forgot about that one. I thought, no, why would I forget about that? It's brilliant. I do believe it's like top 3. So, well done. Well done. But without further ado, let's talk about the books. I actually can't quite believe this book is even on here. But coming in number 8, we have Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Now, in this, we follow a numerous amount of characters. Sansa, Arya, Ned, Jon, Daenerys, and they are all part of the 7 kingdoms. Well, Daenerys isn't, but she was rightfully a part of it at some point. And it is about how the war for the crown, for the Iron Throne starts. This book is the beginning. I have watched the TV show, so that certainly did help me. But I am surprised at how much I loved this. I think it's a sort of perfect fantasy escape. I was intimidated by the size of it, but it's immensely readable. It has really sort of quick chapters, like quick POVs from the characters, so it keeps it really, really fresh. It doesn't drag on. I do think if I had not watched the TV show, I might be sort of saying a different tale, but I have watched it, so it's just the way it goes. But I enjoyed it immensely. Of course, there is more detail in the book and things are slightly different. And I've been told as you go along, it gets even more different, which I'm really, really excited to see. But it's just such a vivid world and an engaging world that I really am sort of hooked on it. I'm sort of hooked. I've even read the second one now. So, I'm not always a great picker-upper of series, or I read one and I just don't read them for years, actually. I was going to say months, but it can be years, friends. So, yeah, George R. R. Martin, well done. He hasn't released sort of the 5th book or the 6th book, and, I might not catch up by then, but who knows. But I really, really love this, and I'm so glad I'm continuing with the series. Coming in at number 7, we have Human Animal by Seth Insua. Now, in this, we follow George, who is a dairy farmer, and we follow his son Tom, who comes back from university. And when George's dairy farm is protested by vegans and human animal rights activists, Tom sides with those activists. And there is also sort of without spoiling too much for you, there's sort of a look back at history, and it's really, really engaging. I really, really enjoyed this. I think it makes you think as a reader. I think it asks some great questions. And I have to say, I think this will be a perfect book club selection. If you're in a book club, I think you'll get so many different opinions on the characters and what they stand for and what's right and what's wrong and where people sit, which side they sit on. I think it would be a really, really fascinating discussion. So if you're looking for a book club pick, I think this would be brilliant. But I just like how multifaceted this would, how it made me think. It was one of those books when I was at work and I was thinking about it, which I would think is the sign of a really brilliant, fantastic read. And it's beautifully rewritten. It's super engaging. You want to find out what happens. There is so much sort of going on, especially with this sort of secondary storyline of the past and how it fits in. I just think you'll be thinking about it. You'll have questions. You'll have feelings and opinions on the subject matter of the book. And I think that is brilliant. Like I said, I think it's the perfect book club pick. And if you haven't read it yet, I really think you should. And then coming in at number 6, you knew it was going to be on there somewhere because I'm a huge fan. We have Sunrise of the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. In Sunrise on the Reaping, we follow Haymitch, who, as we know, as Katniss's mentor, and we follow his story in the 50th Hunger Games and how it came to be and how he came to be a victor. I think Suzanne Collins does a fantastic job. There's a whole vlog down below of me reading this over my birthday because I always like to read a good book on my birthday, and this was no exception. I think Suzanne Collins does a great job at keeping this interesting because the bottom line is we know what happens. We're told, we know he's still alive. We know because we are seeing his story 25 years in the future with Katniss. But she does a fantastic job of keeping it interesting, twists and turns. She adds in some really brilliant characters which make the story sort of hard-hitting. It makes your stomach drop. It gives you sort of an emotional connection, I can't think of the word I'm looking for because it's not connection, but it just, emotional investment. You're emotionally invested to the characters, which I think is brilliant. It had so many sort of twists and turns that I didn't see coming, but I never do. Caveat, I never do. But yeah, I think it fits in to the world really, really well. I think it really sort of sets up the Hunger Games series, which is probably what she intended to do. And she's done a fantastic job. Suzanne, are you watching? You did a fantastic job. From one reader, you did a fantastic job. Yeah, I really liked this. I loved it. Next up, we have The South by Tash Orr. Now, I was lucky enough to see Tash Orr speak at the 4th Estate live event, and it got me really, really excited for this book, and it did not disappoint. In this, we follow a boy named Jay, who, when his grandfather dies, Jay and his family move to this sort of barren, diseased trees land, and it is about this period of change within the family. While we're there, Jay meets sort of another young boy and he falls in love. But what really surprised me about this novel is you also sort of got perspectives from the family, and I absolutely loved that. I loved getting to know them all. I loved that you sort of had this love story sort of running throughout, but then you would get the story of his father, the story of his mother, the story of his sisters, the story of the boy he falls in love with and his father. And I think it kept it really, really interesting. This is the first in a quartet, and I think, yes, you can tell it is the first in a quartet. It's sort of setting everything up. But for me, it didn't detract anything from the novel. It's fun. It's fun to see it's set up and to imagine where it's going to go and where these, like the foundations of the story are being set up here. And it's fun to see where the characters are going to go and where the relationships and the connections are going to go. And I think he does such a fantastic job of describing the atmosphere of going to this rundown place. And he just builds a great landscape around these characters. And I'm excited to see if the love story is going to continue to be a main feature of the future novels, or if it's going to be more along the family lines. I just thought it set up really well. I loved when sort of the perspectives interconnected. That is my bread and butter. I love that, and he does it so well. It's sort of really sort of sweeping in its scope, and I loved it. I loved it. I'm so excited to read the next book in it. I'm so excited to own the whole quartet. If it carries on being good, of course, it could drop off, but let's hope it doesn't. Next up, we have The Emperor of Gladness by Ocean Vuong. Now, in this, we follow the story of Hay, who one night decides he's had enough and is sitting on the edge of a bridge when a woman hanging out her laundry calls over to him, and it is about the formation of their relationship. Intimate. It's so incredibly intimate in the sense that it's real life. You're reading real life in this book. All the little details, all the mundaneness of it make it really special. You get to really sort of relish in this unconventional relationship between the two. You learn more about Grazina as you go along. You learn more about Hai as you go along. And it's just sort of fascinating the way that Ocean Vuong can conjure up these images in your head and how he can make it seem so real. Like, I sort of keep thinking about these characters thinking, oh, I wonder what they're up to now. I wonder how they are. But obviously they're not real, but I sort of keep forgetting that. It's the mundaneness of it. And I mean that in the best way. You just feel like you're reading about real life. And I think that is sort of a genius thing to do to keep it interesting. And yeah, I just really loved it. It's sort of really emotionally impactful, and sort of Hai has got this sort of mystery around him. You don't never find out why he is sitting on the edge of that bridge, but towards the end you do, and it sort of just makes your stomach drop and your heart go, and it's life. I think Ocean Vuong captures life really, really well, and I loved it. I really loved it. I loved it. Sometimes I wonder when I do these and I'm just like, I loved it, but I hope I'm giving sort of good enough reviews for you, or you might want to like pick some of them up. But we're about to enter the top 3 now. We're about to enter the top 3. So coming in at number 3 is the book you all voted for me to read. And when you did it, I was a bit devastated because it was quite a chunky one. I sort of didn't even really have sort of the intention to ever read it, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. There is a reading vlog for it down below somewhere. I'll link it down below. I can't even remember what it is, but it is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Now, in this, we follow the Trask and the Hamiltons, mainly the Trasks, I will say, as 2 young boys, they grow up, they start their own families, they move, they try and set up farms, they go through the First World War, and it is brilliant. I cannot believe how much I loved this. I was engrossed, I was engaged. I think it's a sort of a really grand, sweeping novel. I think when a book spans generations and years like that, and how Steinbeck manages to keep it very sort of singularly focused and intimate and intense. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I also have to give a shout out to Kathy, who I think is one of the greatest characters I've ever read. I have to say it. I mean, she was brilliant. Anytime we got her sort of section of the story, it jumped off the pages lit up. I just felt like I was reading something. And the fact that he wrote this, you know, years and years ago, and it's so good. It's so good. I love this book. I love it. It's just, again, I was literally talking about how I love it, but I do. It's engaging. Every sort of new year we meet them and they've grown up a bit, or the circumstances have changed, it's just as engaging. He blends it all together so unbelievably well. I loved it. I loved this book. I can't believe how much I loved it. I don't think this will leave my top 10 books of the year. Can you tell by the way I'm acting? And then for my first book of the year, I always like to read a book that I think will be 5 stars, that I think I'm going to love. I did that this year and it worked. We have Open Heaven by Sean. In this, we follow James, who is a lonely teenager who is just looking for companionship. And when he starts a job and he meets Luke, he wonders if he has found it. Sean Hewitt is a poet, and this is his first sort of like debut novel, and it's brilliant. The prose is so unbelievably gorgeous. I think it is a coming of age love story, but for me, it didn't feel like it was, even though it's very much sort of the central plot line. It's just so delicately and tenderly done, and you were so inside James's head that when I wasn't in it, I'd be like, oh, no, I need to get back to it. I need to get back to it. It's tender, delicate, full of sort of longing and confusion, and I loved it. I got to stop saying that because I don't think that's a great review, but you know, at least you know how I feel. Goodness, it was everything I wanted it to be and then some. It just had a delicacy to it and an honesty and a truth and sort of that lonely, I'm the only person in this village, like, who understands how I feel, and just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And lastly, coming in at number 1, which is a bit of a surprise to me because I didn't even really sort of know about this book before it came to me, but it is Waist Deep by Linnea Meyer Ernst, translated from the Danish by Sherilyn Nicolette Hellberg. In this, we follow, I don't know how many, 5 friends from their university days as they all meet up at this cabin for 7 days in the summer. And what follows is a book of confusion, is a book of longing, which is a book of love and unrequited love and passion and the delicacy of friendship. I loved this book. I actually cannot stop thinking about this book, especially like towards the end. Linnea has just created these characters that I won't forget. I won't forget their connections, the fragility of them, the intensity of them, how it shows how friendship and emotions change. It shows how passionate people can be and how they think they want something and they don't. And I think it just feels like this sort of one really sort of lucid, passionate filled book. I loved it. I know I keep saying that, I'm sorry, but I did. I just keep thinking about it. I could read about them I hope they go back for a second trip and have another 7 days. That's actually what I think. I just thought it was genius. The way she sort of changed between characters' perspectives, sometimes mid-sentence, and yet it all made sense. It all made sense. I would really, really like this to be nominated for the Booker International Booker Shortlist next year. I don't know if it's eligible. I know it can't have been for this one, so I'm hoping it will be for the next one. I just thought it was genius. I really thought it was genius. I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking about sort of the ending of the novel and how it challenges ideals and challenges ourselves and who we want to be and what we think we want and think, but what we actually want. Just brilliant. The way it's written, I loved. It's just got that summer feel, that sort of lucidity. The prose is beautiful. I'm surprised myself this is number 1, but I can't stop thinking about it. I cannot stop thinking about this book. There we have it. My top books of the year so far. Still feels weird not saying 10. I nearly said 10, but I didn't. Let me know. Just let me know if you've read any of these and if you love them too. Let me know what your top book of the year is so far. If you think I like it, maybe I'll pick it up. Let me know. I'll be very intrigued to see. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to have me chat with me in the comments. I absolutely love that. Feel free to like and subscribe. That will really help. And I'm going to speak to you all really, really soon.